Welcome back to the most professional StarCraft 2 with the former Zerg world champion in the blue, the Executioner. It's Rogue. Up against the 200 IQ Protoss in the red, we have Classic. A best of 3 Protoss versus Zerg, with Classic looking like an absolute genius in this matchup lately, and Rogue looking like he doesn't respect anyone not named Rogue. With that in mind, I only really have 2 predictions, which is expect the unexpected, and me begging you for likes. And if you haven't made it there yet, it'd be awesome if you could subscribe. And Jimmy, what are we at? What do you mean we didn't make it yesterday? Well, just do it again. I said I'd do it anyway. 1,370 likes on this video, on this cast. Yeah, I'll cast another one. I'll probably do it anyways. But thank you for watching. Hopefully you've had a good day so far. And hopefully it's about to get just a little bit better. Adept, meet and greet with the Queen. A lot of people pay good money, or I don't actually know what the process is for that, but throws some shade though, which is quite offensive, but Adept's well known for it. And speaking of, Classic has used Adepts to great effect against Dark, against Solar, but apparently not against Rogue, as he loses the first Adept to slowlings while trying to take down the Overlord off the Pervert Pillar on the other side. But after a clean sweep against both Dark and Solar, with Oracle into Glaive Adepts every single game against both of the top Zergs in Korea, well, it seems like we're going to get something slightly different here against Rogue, who isn't quite counted among that number, at least at the moment. Recently returned, relatively recently, from his military service. Still looking incredibly strong, but doesn't quite have that killer instinct of Dark or the mechanics of Solar at the moment. That doesn't mean he's not dangerous, and that doesn't mean Classic shouldn't respect him, but it does seem like Classic is pulling out a different style here instead of just the straight into Glaive Adepts. So you should check those games out, obviously, afterwards. Getting 5 drones with the Oracles, doing pretty well. 1 Oracle badly bruised. Another Oracle comes back in for more, though. But the Oracle, get off my creep! Nice job, Brenda. You did good. Don't condescend. No, I'm not condescending. It means talking down to you. Is that a joke about me not flying? Just... This has gone on too long, alright? It's not funny anymore. I'm not laughing. I don't... Well, the Adepts shading in towards the natural. And, well, it's just one kill. 2 Adepts dead. Another one forced to shade away. Oracles try to come in towards the natural, the main base. Stasis at the back. And some somewhat uncharacteristic sloppiness here out of Classic, as not really able to get the damage done. He killed some drones, but losing the aura. Whoa! Wow. He killed some drones, but losing the Oracle and the Adepts as well has really left him with no options for following this up. So, already teching up Robotics Facility, Templar Archives, Blank +1. Rogue maneuvering around. Has a lot of drones out already. We're just going to be skipping straight into a macro game. All right, neither side. We're not going to have that Ravager Ling exchange. We're not going to be poking and prodding with the Blink Stalkers. We're not going to have the will they, won't they of Adept Shades. It's going to be Storm, 4 bases. And on the other side, Rogue will have an Infestation Pit. He's already got missile attacks on the way. He's not doing any Hydra upgrades yet, though. I think that's soon on the agenda. There you go. Groovy spawns. It looks like he's rushing Hive Tech Lurk. So we are sprinting up the tech tree right now and starting to branch out a bit. But the summary being, both players going to have almost 80 workers by the 8-minute mark. And for the 4 of you that have actually been following the guides and trying to play the SC2 ladder lately, my goal for your average Metal Leaguer, no matter what race you play, is getting 50 workers by 8 minutes, which is a baseline that most players, especially below Diamond, can't hit. Meanwhile, these two, while poking and prodding at each other, are about to hit 80 workers with Tier 3 tech before 8 minutes, and then some. So, well, I don't know if that really gives you the scale of macro game we're at right now. But from this point forward, every battle will be with some of the most expensive units, at least until the very end, and we run out of options. Classic, a second Robo. Hive, Lurker Den on the way, already. Charge, +1 air weapons, a second Stargate, and there it is. The Fleet Beacon, as Classic is wasting absolutely no time and chrono boosting his way into the Golden Armada, which is almost certainly going to be carriers. At this stage of the game, even if you're up again, if you can get the carriers in high enough number, you go for carriers. They are kind of a win condition against most players. The reason why carriers are not always as effective is because much of the time they're a desperation move. They are the choice when you're already dying to the lurkers as opposed to looking to combat them. My life for ire. Did we build a zealot, guys? Anyone? No, you should always have one zealot. It's very important. All right, diversity is key. This single changeling is actually quite a huge deal for Rogue, who's now sending in his first wave of lurkers. He doesn't even have lurker range yet, but he knows the Immortals and the Templar are on the wrong side of the map. In order to deal with this, the carriers are only halfway done. He even got a contaminate on one of the carriers, which means that Rogue has a real opportunity to potentially take out the base to the south. And he's hitting the north side with the Zerglings as well. He may be able to stop the Armada before it even starts. He took out both Oracles before a single revelation. There's no detection besides one observer. And that is tenuous detection indeed. Anitis is in towards the main. And Classic going to try to break these lurkers before Anitis can come up. I'm not sure if you even noticed it, but Zerglings overrunning the Immortals. Storm hitting both sides. But the Protoss a little bit better trained to weather it. Nidus is done, but I don't think Rogue expected this to actually work. He has nothing to send through the network, and soon he's going to have network connectivity issues. Down it goes. Adrenaland's about to complete. That was definitely a distraction, Nidus. One of those you throw out there to try to split their forces. It just happened to work. Though Rogue gets cleaned up on the field. Classic, how many key units? He lost 3 Immortals. He's lost 3 Oracles. He needs an Oracle. Oracles are the only really reliable form of detection against the lurkers. Otherwise, you're reliant on observers, which a strong gust of wind or a bit of a wrong turn will easily lose. That changeling! It's been nice knowing you guys. Where are you going? Oh my god. They killed him. Meanwhile, approximately 38 zealots. Okay, slightly less, but enough zealots to fully surround a hatchery. A hatchery surround of zealots. Manages to take out the northern base and keeps most of them alive. The carriers have arrived, and does he have 2 cyber cores? Just 1 cyber core. +1 air weapons is done. Classic, now expanding to a 5th base. Zealots come right back in. Hired again. The only danger is overspending, because as you know, they charge a lot. So, Lurker tries to burrow. Adaptive Talons, not researched yet for Rogue. He's built a Sporchard up in the center. Another Nidus towards the main, but forgetting the second Lurker upgrade is quite an oversight. as that is the upgrade that allows you to reposition those lurkers significantly easier, and possibly make the difference in some of these closer fights. But the Armada, there's a second Cyber Core finishing. +1 melee and flyer attack simultaneously on the way. A single, I'm gonna say lurker? Lurker. On the 4th base, poking and prodding and slicing through, kills a few probes, and is continuing to deny Classic the northern side. 9 more Spore Crawlers, like 7 more cannons. Static defense on either side. Spore Crawlers, well, static, mostly static defense at the very least. Enough Hydras to shut down the Zealot run-bys, and there's so many Spores. Wings into the mineral line. The cannons can't fire quickly enough to dislodge them, and actually most of the cannons up towards the front. The carrier's wandering into the Sporist. And, wow. They could probably take out the Spores and the Queens if left alone. I don't think Rogue's going to give him that opportunity. Mothership is in production. With the Nexus in front, Rogue should actually see it as well. It's not going to be the most surprising thing. 8 more Corruptors are on the way. So far, Rogue has lost, wow, 1,600 more gas. And a couple thousand more minerals, which he has been playing a more aggressive style into one of the most powerful unit compositions in the game, and only going to become more so with that Mothership. Sure, a bit of a liability, and occasionally just a total waste of minerals and gas. Hey! Oh, nope. Changeling. Classic would never be found dead or alive with Zealots as part of his main army. That's how he knows they're Changelings. The Zealots always get split off in tower defense style creep waves. Tectonic destabilizers on for the Tempest and anti-building damage. With this many Spores, you can certainly justify it. Kind of surprised to see not a single Infestor yet. They're the Changelings trying to join up again, but at this point, quite literally, if there are Zealots, they're not with the main army. I said, just as he brings 2 Zealots into the main army. We'll see if his reflexes cause him to kill them accidentally. But fighting up to the high ground, Vipers, but there's so many Overseers, he actually can't pick them all out for feedback. It is hiding in plain sight. He needs that Overlord speed done. He's gonna have it momentarily. Now, Overlord speed completed. But if you have enough Overseers and even Queens underneath, especially in a split-second fight, it becomes nearly impossible to pick out the Vipers quickly. So, if Rogue plays his cards right, he may be able to get several extra Viper spells off before the Templar are able to negate them. Yanks in the Mothership! That's a big one! Actually, they don't get any larger. Just like those storms. Massive, terrible, terrible damage on both sides. Carriers down for the count. Mothership knocked out of the sky. But a whole bunch of Corruptors were wiped out as well. And by that I mean 5. It looked worse than it was. More Corruptors on the way. Still some Changelings underneath. Remarkable effectiveness from these Changelings. More Zealots. Chewing through the Spore Crawlers. The Zealots have +3 attacks. Spore Crawlers still take a while to get through them. A Tactical Nidus to help things out. The Hydra's come back to defend. A second Mothership. I don't think the Mothership is a bad idea. The Time Warp, slowing and reducing attack speed can be a game changer. And Cloak can be a game winner if you find the right opportunity for it. Honestly, though, I think the Changeling's still trickling out. Oh my god. One of them just clicked onto the Tempest. Yanks out a Tempest and a Carrier. 2 for the price of none. Just easy pickoffs there. Classic. Hey, boys. You guys... Hey, Nora. You guys come here. Oh! Classic realizes. Honestly, the Changelings, the unsung heroes of all of this. As the Protoss, of course, don't sing. Because they don't have mouths. But Hydra's still working on this northern base. Oh my, wait, what's happening down here? So there's a hatchery on the way, but unfortunately, the cannons will be fully operational by the time the drone arrives. As Classic very optimistically, wow, that's a single pylon.
Who does that?
He's got the cannons already set up, a changeling back at the watchtower. Wow, and he made them in the most beautiful fashion. So risky. So vulnerable to Blinding Cloud, to Banelings, to Ravagers, and potentially to Ultralisks. But none of those. And also, the reason you don't build cannons in this aesthetically pleasing campaign level manner is, well, because of things like Lurkers, who are showing us how efficient it is to take out a phalanx of cannons like that. A recall to the back. The Nidus, incredibly dead. As he recalls to the natural, but the Lurkers are taking out the gold base of Golden Aura. Some of the Templar. There's actually nothing to kill the Templar. He's made one of his spires great again. +2 air armor and +2 shields are completed. And chitinous plating is on the way. Rogue is leaning into Ultralisks, of all things. Now, the Ultras are used for taking out the static defense. He needs something that can get underneath and deal with the Templar. Because even if there's just a single pylon, wow.
You have to be kidding me that anyone can be this bad.
That's an optimistic play. We'll see if Rogue figures it out, but the Lurkers outranging the cannons, of course. Does he have adaptive tech? He eventually did get it. But Classic. The Templar spotting. Are there any change? Oh my god, the changeling again! Hey, how you doing? Not good here. Shield battery overcharged to protect. Those changelings, though. Oh my god, there's more! They're everywhere! I look in the mirror and I sometimes see a changeling. Well, feedback hits the Vipers, Storm, and Tempest just rip it apart. More Vipers on the way. Not a single infester. Classic keeps trundling across, back and forth, round and round we go. The Mothership, that is Mothership 2, right? Another one didn't get pulled out while I wasn't looking. It happens surprisingly often. Not that surprising. It happens an expected amount, a whelming amount of the time. Both players now with 5k, and then some. The army value, 73, 5,300 for Rogue. 69, 51 for Classic. So Rogue's army is actually worth slightly more. The Zealot evades the Lurkers, and then... Well, that was an interesting exchange, but here comes the rest of the army. Classic. So a very key point about the corner bases. Gold bases don't have more minerals. In fact, they have less than the blue bases. They just mine more quickly. So Rogue may be able to establish this base, but there are only 6 mineral patches as compared to the 8 in the top right. So that means there are literally less minerals to mine. The Zerglings will get in to the natural, the only place not protected by cannons. And he will regret that immediately. And it actually depowers the +3. Oh my god, those Zerglings just ripping apart the buildings. Deals with it here. They're changelings! Hey guys, where are we going next? Yeah, for Tassadar. And Taro the Dune. You guys like the Dune movie? Wait, who are these guys? I thought it was pretty good, but the idea that a bunch of zealots are just gonna rise up and take up like an advanced race with shields and stuff like that, that's crazy to me. Like some sandworms will explode out of the ground, that's not real. Meanwhile, Nidus comes up to the north side. Mothership number 2 is down. I don't think she'll be the last. As we all know. Though. if you consult this diagram, here you can see the mothership in this diagram is made of paper, which is an accurate representation. And that is why it can be abducted. It's actually just like a thin plate. Imagine like a frisbee. A Xeno frisbee. Well, it's not Xenos if it's just the Protoss. To us, the Terrans are the Xenos. Meanwhile, Zergling shield battery overcharge doing a great job. Those are +2 shield cannons, though fully upgraded cracklings. Ultra's on the way. Tempest, get over here. The Vipers have been doing great work, but the cannons take out another one. The Zerglings got through the cannons and the shield batteries eventually. There's a Robo Bay. I wonder if he got that just for observer speed. And the Changelings are Rogue just... My god, the Changelings are the real MVPs in all this. Just right-clicking them on. They're remarkably hard to deal with. There's so many of them. He has 13 Overseers, partially to mask another wave. Partially to mask the Vipers, and partially because these Changelings are doing such great work. He's so fed up with it. He stormed the change. Ah, there's another one! They're everywhere! Yes, technically that works. Changelings at the natural. A Nidus on the way! It's a horror movie! Ultras. A recall with most of the army. Another beautiful setup of cannons. The most vulnerable kind. As the lurkers come in to educate class. How many times do we gotta teach you this lesson? He cancels them all, but for some reason leaves one. And the lurkers will cancel it before it even gets started. The Archon at the watchtower. Yeah. Unfortunately, the Zerglings get us around. Mothership number 3 is in production. More Ultras on the way. As now, with over 10,000 minerals in the bank apiece. Rogue has lost about 2,000 more gas, but 3,000 less minerals. So it's at this point, somewhat awkwardly, we have to talk about the win condition for a game of StarCraft. Oh my god, there's so many Changelings. Wait, Revelation on Changelings. That's actually a crazy idea, because your own units can't get revelated. So if you use Revelation, it can actually pick out the chain. He still missed one, though. Hey, boys, where are we headed? And now Ultras trying against the cannons, not working out. The gold base is cleared up. I'd say about 40% mine. A little bit less than that, actually. Oh my god, that's a lot of lurkers. That, right up the gut. 14, all 14 lurkers. This has to be a recall. Wow, the trickle-down recall. The mothership pops out of the Nexus and immediately recalls the army. The escape Nidus gets many of the lurkers out. And, wow, okay. Another Changeling! Is there a Changeling loss counter? Too many is the answer. Too many. I choose to believe that Changelings think that they are Protoss. Okay. They think that they're their long-lost friends and they've just been memory wiped or reprogrammed or trained to believe that they're Protoss, and that's why they blend in so well. Okay. Instead of knowing they're a spy, they happily want to participate in the activities that they believe they're part of. Like a real, kind of a Truman Show situation there. Food for thought. Meanwhile, Zealots warped in. as the cyber core goes down. Now, upgrades are maxed out from the cyber core. Some changelings blocking in the zealots. See, look, they're helping the zealots. Yeah, get those zerglings. I hate zerglings. Wait, do I? I don't understand anymore. Meanwhile, the Skytoss Armada is clearing out the spores as Classic recalls back, and he's out of there. Oh my god, the mothership. A quarter second away from disaster as the Corruptor's doing terrible, terrible damage. Maximum upgrades besides +3 shields across the board. Wait, there's another Nidus. Hello? I don't... Nope, those are changelings. They're screwing me up on the minimap as well. The long distance mining. Rogue is down to 36 workers, and I think that's mostly intentional. As he doesn't have that many mineral patches with which to mine. Rogue, for what is amusingly not the first, not the second, but the third time, will be expand. We'll try to expand with a drone directly onto. Well, nope. With over 9,000 minerals in the bank, this game, it feels like, I can't remember when it started. I mean, I can, but it's felt like a very quick 30 minutes. But that's usually a good thing, right? More changelings dead. I really wish we had a changelings lost counter. Changelings fulfilled counter. The thing is, the actual losses have not been so dramatic, and the armies are still massive. There's still a lot of minerals to be mined, and more importantly, gas. Be very careful what you storm with this many probes on the way across. The trail of probe tiers. They'll be escorted across the map. Here we are again. Another attempt to take the gold base. As ownership is yet again relinquished by Rogue, who's lost 7 hatcheries. Classic has only lost 1 finished Nexus, which feels inaccurate. But I think most of his losses have been when he's trying to take a base. But once he takes it, he keeps it for the most... Oh. A drone coming down again. And another wave of changelings. My god. Not again. How many times, Classic? You can't just build your cannons in a straight line. Sandworms, Classic. He's sending another... He's trying to build a hatch. That looks crazy. I love it. The hatchery outline on that Nexus. Oh, lurkers! Those are changelings. Well, oh my god, the probes! 11 probes! Oh no, the probes just happened to go through the line of lurkers and get eviscerated. 11 probes dead, which, not a huge problem at this stage of things. 8 brood lords on the way. Rogue is down to 5,000 gas in the bank. He's now lost, wow, 39 lurkers and 16 Nidus worms, which adds up. He's actually only lost 3 vipers and 9 corruptors. Plus 3 shields, more changelings being sent out. Kind of somehow sneakily has amassed 11 ultras and not a single infester. The brood lords sieging this base. Recall is off cooldown. Is he gonna commit it? The storm onto the broods, softening a lot of them up. Classic. Well, the ultras Oh my god, the cloak, the ultras are being obliterated. The ultras try to take advantage. He expected Classic to come try to defend this base. He was probably anticipating a recall. But Classic, he's only got like 600 gas. In fact, the recall goes the other direction, where Classic will make a fortress. And here come the ultras, but Classic anticipated it. And the immortals and cannons are fully operational by the time your ultralists arrive. Classic. Oh, but there's changelings at the watchtower. The plot thickens. Again, the changelings. Closing the gap. The Brood Lords working on the north side, but this is almost tapped out. There's like 800 minerals. We're doing the thing where we start just counting. 300 gas. A rounding error. I appreciate Classic's control groups as well. He's got one for Templar, Tempest, Oracles, and the Mothership slash Deathball army. So he's really trying to work all the pieces of the puzzle here. It's like juggling flaming swords while also being attacked by the Zerg. As any of these things, if they wander too far forward on their own, will die horribly. And some of them can actively hurt you, like Storm or a poorly placed Mothership. So I guess it doesn't actively hurt you, it just can make things very difficult. God, the changelings. So Rogue. Still not a single infester. Honestly, usually these type of games I find not particularly entertaining. But this hasn't been a passive game. This hasn't been sitting back, see if you can beat the Deathball. They keep going back and forth across the map. And Rogue has, well, there's still enough that they could rebuild most of their armies. Rogue is at 11.2 thousand minerals and 8,200 Vespene gas. Classic at 9,000 minerals and 7,000 Vespene gas. Rogue has pretty much the most expensive army you can build while still having any drones. He doesn't have enough in the bank to rebuild it from scratch, though. Hopefully it doesn't come to that. He could build several thousand more Zerglings. Wait, is that math? You know, by the end of it. There's still some more changelings. Changelings holding the watchtower. Oh my god, the changelings may actually distract. Oh, wait, yanks out a carrier. But Storm's doing a lot of damage. He's just giving up and he's just storming for changelings. Meanwhile, the gold base may finally be mined out. The Brood Lord's trying to move into position to deal with it. There's like 3,000 gas left in the tank here. The Ultras, well, this base is tapped out. Honestly, is he really going to recall? He recalls the ground. Oh my god. The most ultra-killing army you can get. More changelings! Hey guys, how you doing? The changelings have been a permanent fixture. Like the fish that are attached to the fins of sharks. In this case. Though really providing no benefit besides making your army look scarier. Well. At some point you have to ask like whether it's worth it to even attack. The Brood Lords besieged the cannons to the bottom left. Recall was used. He saw that, and now the Mothership is here. This is the fight. Here come the Storms, trying to get on top of everything. Looking to knock out the Mothership. Where's the parasitic bomb? It's unclear if they're already underneath. The Storms are melting. The Time Warp is too much. And Classic comes out of the fray. He builds 5 more carriers. But a clear victor. The supply obliterated. He had to rebuild all of his overseers as well. Rogue has to build 10 overlords. He's not supply block, but 18 corruptors, 12 brood lords. Rogue refills, but he's not quite able to max out 88 Zerglings. Zerglings not known for their effectiveness against Mass Archon Templar Carrier. He's storming the larva. And Classic. Well, he waits for his moment. Rogue commits. Here come the Zerglings trying to draw out the storms. How many more Templar? There's still some at the back. The Corruptors, the Queens. He uses the cloak. But Classic. Wait, what happened here? This base it's dead? I guess the Broodlords were still fighting that whole time. The Broodlords were working on it, but then Rogue lost the fight. And Classic. No. Here we go again. How many cannons? 59 cannons have been lost this game. He's building half a dozen more. 5 cannons and a battery. Rogue has remaxed, and he has 4 drones. 196 army supply. An entire flock of broods. The Zerglings are coming in. The final countdown. The storms across the board. The Corruptors from every angle. Will there be enough anti-air left over? The Templar are surrounded. The Overseers are helping out. The Corruptors are closing in. The Carrier's being targeted. The Zerglings have killed everything underneath. How has it come to this? The Carrier count is dwindling, but the Corruptor count is even lower. He's down to 3 Carriers against 2 Corruptors. The Broodlings. He just has too many Broodlords left. There's no anti-air. He needs... Where are the Queens? Where are the Queens? Brenda! I can't believe it took this long. Susan, don't you say a goddamn word. You were condescending earlier. Not again. It's always down to us. There is no other reliable anti-air. How has it come down to this, though? He's going to fight the Time Warp. He tries to catch the Broods. An interesting choice. Maybe underestimating the power of Queens. The income. He pulls back. Oh, no. The problem is Classic still has a bank. Classic still... He doesn't need income. He can rebuild an army. And if he had fought into 5 Queens and some Spore Crawlers, well, maybe. Maybe that could have made the difference, but Classic brings out the Void Rays. The Queens may have maxed out upgrades, but the creep spread has not been... It's not been enough. GG! He just taps it out. After 39 minutes, the war is over. Rogue no longer has the resources to sustain it. Classic survives the onslaught. Kind of crazy the game ended with more Broodlords than were lost the whole game. 54 Corruptors dead. Rogue just wasn't able to hold on to the bases quite long enough. Didn't try a single infestor. Classic, I think, so close to overextending, but not so much so that Rogue was able to take advantage. Only 3 motherships. And game 1. Game 1 goes to Classic. Yes. Classic. The high-tech Protoss. A science victory indeed. Wow. That was like a fastest map game. Except you can actually run... I guess in some fastest map versions you can run out of resources, right? But they just built the armies. The best armies that they were willing to come up with. I'm not saying the best armies out there, because Rogue clearly was more confident in the kind of Broodlord, Corruptor, Viper. The Changelings, the real MVPs. We gotta talk about the Changelings. Alright, most valuable fake Protoss there. The MVFPs. I love the Changelings. Now, if he was willing to spend 1/10 of the attention that he spent on Changelings on Infestors. Now, okay, so Changelings don't take constant micro. You send them out, you right-click them on a unit, they'll try to follow that unit around. That's why they look like a particularly loyal puppy when following things like Immortals around. But would... Obviously, infestors would help. The problem is, for everyone who isn't a named Cyril, the infestors, maybe occasionally dark, but for everyone who isn't named Cyril and occasionally dark, which is a very long name, but they usually end up being more of a liability and a waste of Vespene gas. You might get a fungal, microbial shroud, even a neuroparasite or two, but is it worth 300, 450, like 1,000 gas on infestors compared to corruptors or more broods or whatever? Solid, it depends. I don't think Rogue is ignorant of the fact infestors exist. I think he's played enough games against that style that that he knows his limits. And it looked like for a while he'd be able to pick apart the unit composition, but Classic buckled down and he started really objective gaming. Because at the end of the day, it's not about taking all the bases quickly. If you can deny the bases from your opponent, eventually you'll get there. One base at a time. So... still so close, though. Alright. Maybe he breaks out the Eclipse build this time around. My working title for the Oracle into Mass Shade. Adept immediately dies to a queen in the main, but Oracle comes in. We immediately driven away. Melee attack. Third Nexus. Just 3 Adept shading across for now. No follow-up yet from Classic. Whoop. Zoops in. Technical term. Twilight and Forge. Slabs down a couple more gates. And we'll see what direction Classic wants to go with it. He's got the full Shady bunch together, so this isn't going to be a mass Blaze build, it looks like. But instead, just your more typical early Adept pressures. He actually completes 1. Interesting choice. Blink and +1 behind. That's a go. They'll expect one of us in the wreckage. Sister, I think. Blink +1 on the way. Roach Warren for Rogue. Gonna be leaning into the more typical Roachling composition. Definitely more opportunity to attack, especially into a 4th base, most importantly on this map. The 4th base is the usual sticking point. Oh, probes? Alright. They wanted that Zergling. Now the Zergling's gonna get a full look at the entirety of the base. Nothing unexpected here, but confirming there's nothing unexpected is already helpful. Infestation Pit for Rogue already. He's going for Roach speed. There's a Templar Archives in production for Classic, so not intent on doing some big Blink Stalker timing, but instead going to be going up to the Storm, very likely. And probably Immortals as well. He's got the gas. There it is. Storm on the way. Come. Stasis. Takes the wind out of the sails of those Zerglings. Not gonna be enough to get through. Already a hive in production. Does he have a hive? I think that's just for vipers. Or even just adrenal glands. There's a... Oh my god. He's doing a German limo build. Express... Ladies! Into the Overlord! How do we all fit? Don't... It's like a Harry Potter thing, okay? Don't ask about it. Are you saying 4 of us are the same size as one Ultralisk? Yes. That's fair. Well, Rogue with a Queen drop Ravager Ling timing, but the stasis creates... No, this is not happening. This is an absolute disaster before it starts. Feedback on the Queens could nail it. Oh my god, and everyone dies. Oh, it's an ab... It's a... Oh, this is a tragedy. It's a calamity for Rogue. But the Zerglings come unfrozen just as the Queens are taken down. The Oracles are activated. No, this is... No. 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 Hydra's Den's on the way. Rogue is now down 14 workers. Not even close to taking the high ground there. Classic did not... If Classic had been going straight into Stargate and working on carriers, okay, maybe that timing works out. But it feels like Rogue kind of thought of the Queen drop idea and decided to go with it, except the time had already passed. It may have taken Classic slightly off guard because it was so late, but no, that was foolhardy. Now Hive Tech's on the way, but Classic may not realize he could just walk across the map and win the game right now. In fact, if he doesn't do so, that's almost a criminal negligence here on his part. Probably, he's giving Rogue the benefit of the doubt. He's like, you wouldn't just throw everything at me into Storm without something to follow it up, right? Right? Unfortunately for Rogue, yeah, Classic's gonna be maxed out momentarily. There's really nothing to stop the freight train coming across the map right now. I don't think so. Maybe some lurkers. He does have an observer. He still has 3 oracles. Classic is taking his sweet time coming across the map, but it's not really on him to hurry things up. He has plenty. He has 85 probes. He's got comfortable 4 bases. He's maxed out. Doesn't have Charger +2. Those are maybe things to wait on. Alright, the Storm zoning out. We're the Oracles. Revelation is kind of required here. But Storm's across the front line. And the Zerglings try to wade through it, much to their detriment. Wow, Rogue just taps it out before he even fights. He gives him credit. He says, well, yeah, even if the lurkers hold, it's already such terrible, terrible damage. Classic with a strong 2-0. After one of the most arduous and surprisingly anticlimactic games, we get yet another one. Rogue felt like both games well, okay, not the second game. I don't know what I'm talking about the second game. The second game was just not good. But the first game, definitely some opportunities, but Classic dragged him to the late game and beat him with experience. And patiently sauntered across the map and pummeled him in game 2 as well. Classic just ripping through Zergs. And coming into the Esports World Cup next month, we're looking for a Protoss who can compete with Cero. I dare not hope. We need a hero. And if it's not going to be Hero... Anyways, thank you for watching. If you got the means of motivation, be awesome to check out Patreon or YouTube membership. But I hear liking and subscribing is still free for now. And thank you for watching. I hope I made your day a little bit better. Good luck. Have fun. I'll see you next time. Stay chill.